Chapter 1. Percy the Penguin and His Problem. Percy the Penguin did not like the cold. That was a very big problem, because Percy lived in the coldest place on Earth. While the other penguins slid on their bellies across the ice, Percy shivered. When the others splashed happily into the freezing ocean, Percy tiptoed in and jumped right back out. And when the chilly wind blew through the South Pole, the penguins fluffed their feathers and flapped their wings. But not Percy. He just hugged himself and shivered. "Brr, I need to get warm," Percy said, rubbing his little wings together. "Why don't you just enjoy the cold?" asked Wally, a big penguin who was making snow angels. "Yes, the cold is the best," said Penny, spinning in circles on the ice. But Percy didn't think so. He waddled up to a snowy hill and sighed. "I wish I had something warm to wear, like soft, cozy pajamas." The other penguins giggled. "Penguins don't wear pajamas, Percy," said Wally. "Well, maybe they should," Percy huffed. Percy wasn't giving up. He was going to find a way to stay warm, even if he had to make pajamas himself. Chapter 2. Percy's Hilarious Attempts at Finding Warm Pajamas. Percy was determined. If penguins didn't wear pajamas, well, he'd just have to make his own. First, he waddled to the ocean and found a big pile of seaweed. It was long, green, and sort of soft. "This will be perfect," Percy said, wrapping the seaweed around his little belly. He tied a big knot in the front and took a step forward. Squish! The seaweed was wet. The seaweed was slimy. The seaweed was wiggling. "Ah! It's still alive!" Percy shouted, flapping his wings. The seaweed slid right off and plopped onto the ice. "Maybe seaweed pajamas weren't my best idea," Percy mumbled. Next, Percy thought, "I need something fluffy, something soft, something snowy." He rolled himself into a big pile of fresh white snowflakes and patted them into place. He looked down at himself. He was covered head to toe in snow. "I did it! Now I have a warm, fluffy snowsuit," Percy cheered. Then a cold breeze blew past. Shiver! The snow stuck to his feathers and Percy froze like a popsicle. "Okay, bad idea," he said, shaking the snow off. Finally, Percy had one more idea. "I need something thick, something strong, something stylish," he said, tapping his beak. Then he spotted a pile of fish by the ice. "That's it! A fish sweater!" He carefully lined up the fish in a row. He tied them together with a little piece of string. He slipped the whole thing over his head. It was cold. It was slimy. And worst of all, it smelled terrible. "Pew! This is awful!" Percy gagged. Suddenly, a group of seagulls swooped down from the sky. "Fish sweater? Yum!" one of them squawked. Percy screamed and ran in circles. "Not a snack! Not a snack!" he cried, wiggling out of the fish sweater as fast as he could. The seagulls snatched it up and flew away. Percy sat on the ice, feeling defeated. Nothing worked. Nothing kept him warm. Maybe Wally and Penny were right. Maybe penguins weren't supposed to wear pajamas. He sighed and flopped onto his belly. Then a shadow fell over him. Percy looked up. It was Grandma Penguin. Chapter 3. Percy feels hopeless. Percy looked up at Grandma Penguin, his little flippers drooping. "What's the matter, dear?" Grandma Penguin asked in her warm, gentle voice. Percy let out a big sigh. "I just can't get warm, Grandma. I tried making pajamas, but nothing worked." Grandma Penguin tilted her head. "Pajamas?" "Yes," Percy nodded. "First I tried seaweed, but it was too slimy. Then I tried snowflakes, but I turned into a penguin popsicle. And the fish sweater." Grandma's eyes twinkled. "Ah, yes. The seagulls loved that one, didn't they?" Percy sighed again and flopped onto his back. Maybe Wally and Penny were right. Maybe penguins aren't supposed to wear pajamas. Maybe I should just be cold forever. Grandma Penguin chuckled. "Oh, Percy, just because something hasn't worked yet doesn't mean there isn't a solution." Percy rolled over and looked up at her. "But I tried everything." Grandma Penguin smiled. "Did you try asking me?" Percy blinked. He hadn't thought of that. "You know how to make pajamas?" Grandma gave a wise little nod. "I might have an idea." Percy sat up, eyes wide with hope. "Really? What is it?" Grandma Penguin turned and waddled toward her igloo. "Come inside, dear. I have something special for you." Percy hurried after her, his heart fluttering with excitement. Was Grandma really about to solve his problem? Inside, the igloo was cozy and warm. There, on a little ice shelf, sat a bundle of something soft and fluffy. Percy's beak dropped open. What is that?" Grandma Penguin lifted the bundle and shook it out. It was a pajama onesie. Soft, warm, and perfectly penguin-sized. Percy gasped, "It's beautiful. But what's it made of?" Grandma Penguin smiled. "Penguin feathers, of course." Percy's eyes widened. Feathers? Like real penguin feathers? Grandma nodded. When we shed old feathers, I collect them, and then I knit them together to make something extra cozy. Percy wiggled with excitement. He couldn't wait to try it on. Chapter 4. Grandma Penguin's Perfect Pajamas. Percy couldn't believe his eyes. A real pajama onesie, made of soft, fluffy penguin feathers. He gently touched the fabric. It was warm. It was light. It was softer than a cloud. "Go on, dear," Grandma Penguin said. "Try it on." Percy grabbed the pajamas and slipped his little wings inside. He wiggled his feet into the cozy leg holes. Finally, he buttoned the front all the way up to his beak. Then he stopped. A big smile spread across his face. "Grandma," Percy whispered, "I feel so warm." Grandma Penguin chuckled. "Told you so." Percy stretched his wings. The pajamas moved perfectly with him. He waddled around, not too tight, not too loose. "They're perfect," he said, spinning in a happy little circle. Just then, Wally and Penny peeked into the igloo. "Percy, what are you?" Wally started. Then he saw the pajamas. Penny's eyes got huge. "Whoa, what is that?" Percy stood up tall. "It's my very own penguin feather pajamas. Grandma made them." The two penguins gasped. Wally poked the sleeve. "It's so soft." Penny touched the fluffy collar. "It's so warm," Percy grinned, "and I don't have to be cold anymore." Wally and Penny looked at each other. Then they both giggled. "I gotta admit," Wally said, "that looks really comfy." Penny nodded. "Yeah, maybe pajamas aren't such a bad idea." Grandma Penguin smiled and gave Percy a little pat. "Well, dear, I think you've started a new trend." Percy beamed. He wasn't just the first penguin to wear pajamas, he was the first penguin to make everyone else want them too. Chapter 5. The Happiest, Coziest Penguin Ever. That night, Percy waddled outside, wearing his brand new cozy penguin feather pajamas. The stars twinkled above, and the cold wind blew across the ice. But for the first time ever, Percy didn't shiver. He didn't hug himself. He didn't wish he was warmer. He was just right. Percy let out a happy sigh and flopped onto a soft pile of snow. "I could stay like this forever," he murmured, snuggling deeper into his pajamas. Wally and Penny sat beside him. "So," Penny said, tilting her head, "are you going to wear pajamas forever now?" Percy thought for a moment. Maybe not forever, but definitely every night." Wally chuckled. "Well, you do look pretty comfy." Percy grinned. "I am comfy, the comfiest penguin in the whole South Pole." Grandma Penguin waddled up and tucked a little ice blanket around him. "Sleep well, dear," she said, patting his wing. Percy yawned and snuggled even deeper. As his eyes fluttered shut, he whispered, "Best idea ever." The wind whooshed gently, the stars twinkled softly, and soon, Percy was fast asleep, the warmest, coziest, happiest penguin in the world. The end.